Hi students, coming to next topic, that is a C++ class declaration. So in the previous videos I already given a structure of the classes, how we are going to use the class while you're writing the programs. So now let us see the clear view of how we declare the class. What are the terms that we used for declaring the class? So actually a class is a user defined structure. So we said it is a user defined. You're defining a name, you are giving a name to a particular class. So it is a logical method to organize data and functions in same structure. So in a same structure you're just organizing. First of all, it is a logical method. So logical method means the class doesn't occupy any space in the memory. Only the objects will occupy the memory. So the class is a logical method to organize data and functions in a same structure. So that is a class. Now coming to a class definition has two parts. So this, whatever the class definition is there, that's having the two parts. One is class head and another is class body. So class head means here a keyword class followed by a class name, you call it as a class head. A keyword class followed by a class name. Okay, so that is a class head. So example means if you're taking class is a keyword followed by a name, suppose Pooja. Okay, so here this is a class and the class name. Now coming to the class body. Class body is again divided into 3. Okay, so here the class definition consisting of class head and the class body. Class head is nothing but a class name followed by a class keyword followed by a class name, whereas class body consisting of collection of data members. Collection of data members means collection of variables. You can call it as data variables, just variables. Collection of member functions. So collection of member functions, it's nothing but, so this is nothing but variables and this is nothing but methods. So a class body consists of collection of data members, collection of member functions and levels of access control. This is the one more thing that is present in the class body. Levels of access control, nothing but access specifiers. Those are the public, private and the protected. Okay, so this is a class is defined. So it is a logical method to organize data and functions on the same structure. This class definition can be divided into 2 types. One is class head and another is the class body. Class head consists of the keyword class followed with a name, class name. And the class body is having the variables, methods and the access specifiers. I think you will be clear now. So what does the class consist of? Let us see the syntax. So the syntax for this is, so here the class, just write any class name. Within the class you are having the access specifiers. So the access specifiers for the data members. Okay, so and then after data members you can write the member functions. Member functions. Okay, so within the member functions you write the code of that and this semicolon. So this should be compulsory because the class will end with a semicolon, closing braces with semicolon. Okay, so here this class is nothing but it is a keyword. A class is a keyword, and this class name it is a user defined name. You can write whatever the name you want, user defined name. And this coming to this access specifiers. So these may be a private, public, protected. A private, public, protected. And coming to this data members, so nothing but the variables to be used. The variables that are used. So this is the data members. Now coming to the member functions. So the member functions is nothing but the methods to access this particular data. Access the data members. Is it clear? So the class consists of access specifiers. So means the data that will be giving the protection to the data. So access specifiers and the variables that we used, and the member functions is nothing but operations that we have to perform on this particular data. Okay, and end with the semicolon. Now let us see one by one. So what is this access specifiers? Okay, and what are these member functions, and what are these data members? Okay, so coming to next. Accessing data members. So if you want to access the data members, you need to specify the access specifiers. So that access specifiers or maybe a private, public, protected. Suppose if your data access specifier is a private, means it presents within a class. So first you have to be noted this private will present within a class. So that is one point. Next, only members of the same class can have accessibility. Only members of same class have accessibility. So this point you have to note it. A private means it should be within a class, and next is only members of the same class can have the accessibility. So it is inaccessible from outside the class. So inaccessible from outside the class. I think you get it. So private, it is a secured. Secured means within a class we are declaring the variables as a private. So those variables we will declare as a private that can access only within the same class. These are not supposed to access from outside the class. Means another classes cannot supposed to access those variables. Now coming to the public. So what does this public? So public means anyone can access. So accessible from outside the class. So outside the class also you can access those data members. So only how you can access those variables outside the another class? Only you have to mention this, only through class objects. So this you have to be noted. You can access those variables that declared as a public from outside the class also, only with the help of the class objects. Only through class object you can access those variables. Now coming to the protected. So what is protected? A protected is present in between private and public. Means we are maintaining the data private as well as the public access. How it possible? Let us see. If a function defined, so whatever the function defined in a class is protected. Let us think whatever the function that we declared in the class is mentioned as a protected. Then they cannot be accessed. They cannot be accessed from outside the class. So whatever the function that we defined inside the class is, suppose it is protected, means they cannot be accessed from outside the class, means it is maintaining privacy. Okay, it is maintaining the privacy. But one thing is, but it can be accessed from the derived class. Okay, so the function that is protected, that can be accessed from the derived class. So the derived class is a connectivity to the whatever the class that is where the function is declared as a protected. Okay, here it is acting as a public. So I think you get it. Suppose if a function, whatever the function that we declared inside the class is protected, this can be accessed from this cannot be accessed from outside the class. So outside another class you are not supposed to access, but you can access from the derived class. So from the derived class you can access those variables if that function is set with a protected. Okay, so these are the accessing data members, so that may be the private, public and protected. Okay, so actually normally according to the rules of data abstraction or information hiding, the one thing you have to be noted is, so normally in accordance to the rules of data abstraction and information hiding, so the points that you have to be noted are the data members. So whatever the data members that we are using inside the class, the data members are kept private. So you have to maintain the data members as kept private, because whatever the variables that you are using, that should not be visible to the outside the classes. Okay, so that should be maintained private. And whereas methods are kept public. Okay, so the data members are always kept as a private and methods are kept as a public, because if you declare the methods as a public, those method structures can be useful for different identities. So different persons will be there, all the people will access those methods but with the different data values. So the data value should be, the data member should be kept as a private, because for each person there are different data members will be there, whereas the method is same for all the people. So you just make it as method, you have to keep it as a public, whereas data members will always kept as a private. Then your data will be safe. You can save data. You can save data from misuse. Okay, so with the help of this you can save the data from misuse. So always keep the data members as a private and methods are the public. So if you keep the methods as a public, so anyone can access that method, but with different values. So this can be maintained. This is one of the rule that data abstraction and information hiding will follow while you're creating the programs. So next, in the next video, we will see what are the member functions that are present in the classes. So we had seen how the class will be declared. So after the class declaration, I explained within the class we are having the data members, access specifiers, and the member functions. So we had seen the access specifiers and the data members. Now in the next video, I'll explain what are the member functions. Thank you.